people of the World Wide Web. So it's Cypher Sigma Screen Timer here. It is a Wednesday, and if you follow this channel or not, this is basically the weekly overhaul of what I have been watching and what I thought. It is physical media based. As I say, if you do want me to or encourage me to bring into stuff I've streamed and stuff, please do let me know in the comments below. But obviously first we'll get up quite a big pile. I don't know if I'll be able to do all this. Is going to be awkward, ain't it? Let's try and do the thing there. All right. So as we have a lot to talk about, we shall go in reverse order as we normally do. So the last to watch is this. So this is one I recently picked up on my payday pickups. So this is the Ultimate Avengers 1 and 2. Had this back in the day, had it in 2 DVDs, so now I have it on a compressed 1 Blu-ray that holds both movies together. And it was okay. I vaguely remember the comics of this, and the comics were a lot more adult themed. This seems to be a bit more child themed. I'm not a big fan of their designs of the Chitauri. I mean, it's an interesting design, but I always feel there seems that it's always good when the Avengers go up against one big bad who has loads of minions, and with this it's just like minions galore. Obviously they do incorporate the designs and some of the stuff from the Ultimate Comic line, people who don't know, but it does feel like it's kind of a light version of this, and that, you know, there was maybe a lot more done to it. I'm not the biggest on a lot of the designs. The stories I thought were really good for the comics, and I think this is where this one, the designs are all right, but it is what it is. So that is the first one. The next one up is series 7 of That 70s Show. Absolutely adore this season. Amazing how season, I think it's 5, 6 and 7, how I've forgotten how much stuff actually happens within this series. Obviously this is the last series where Topher Grace appears. He is out, unfortunately, for the last series except for the final episode. Spoiler alert, but it's been 20 years, so I don't think I'm giving much away here. It still, I think, ends quite well as far as I remember, and still enjoying it. Obviously, this is the penultimate series, and then I have Warehouse 13 and A Town Called Eureka to watch. I'm hoping I can finish all of these. I mean, this I can normally finish with under a week, like 4 or 5 days. I can finish this, so season 8 will be fine. It will be how can I get through 2 seasons of Eureka and Warehouse 13. They're like 20 episodes, quite long, 40. So it's gonna be quite a haul to get through. Not a haul because it's not a painstaking thing, but I would like to get through loads for Christmas because there's other stuff I want to go and watch, and having to, you know, I've had so many DVDs gifted to me and my birthday and everything. My to watch pile keeps piling up, and I'm making dents into it easy enough, but series are just bulking up and I really need to hammer it, and I think that's where maybe a bit more focus will be next year. So next we have, so this was an upgrade from AJ, as I always have to mention him some which way in this video. So, and again, rewatching it, I think for the second or third time, it was all right. For The Rock, to be honest, it was nice with the handicap aspect of it in a few little bits. It was quite nice for him to be a little bit brought back, having just watched Red 1 recently, and how much I thought that was a bit rubbish and he didn't even need to be into it. I think sometimes he can be overused, but I mean, you know, he is, I think, taking a role of what like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone was from the 90s, and I don't think they were ever overused though. But I think in The Rock, because he's so much big in your face all the time, I think that's why people are getting a little bit sick of him. I did quite like the Chinese connection and stuff like this of this movie. Next we have one from the in-laws that I got for my birthday. So this is Royal Space Force. So this, there's still part of the plastic on it. So this was all right. Basically, this is set in a alternate Earth where in China they haven't got space travel yet, but they're looking into building space travel. And you have this main guy here. He is chosen to be the pilot of the spaceship, and it's basically his team putting it together. Along the way, he comes across this girl who is here. Basically, she's kind of a homeless religious nut. So, or that's how she comes across, but she's actually quite of a nice person. She's just very much for religion, and that's her side of things. And then you kind of have, because they're trying to build a space, this space travel, there's part of the country that are against them. A lot of this isn't really explained, and wasn't perceived the best. It looks very much like the same art style of Akira and stuff like this, how the people are drawn and how the backgrounds are, and it fleshes out, and it looks really nice. The voice acting isn't too bad, dubbing for such an old movie. But this is the first movie from the Gainax studio. This kind of was the first one to get them into before they could go into more stuff, and as you can see, they went and did a lot more afterwards. So the director and stuff admit there is a few issues with this, but it is what it is. I say it ticks it off my top 100, so I think I'm getting close to the 50 mark, which is good because I've got a lot of series that are massive to go. Next one, again from AJ, was an upgrade because I only had the DVD of Cutthroat Island. Obviously I think it's possibly a German one. And I didn't mind this. This is kind of it kind of feels like this was the test pilot for Pirates of the Caribbean. The scene, I've seen a lot of behind the scenes stuff of this. So when you see the two boats fighting against, that's proper. They were made. They were in this big tank. You know, it was amazing some of the stuff they've done, and where they're blowing up the street as they're riding horses and stuff. Some of that is actually really, really, really done really well. You know, no CG or anything like that, as far as I can tell. It was really great and enjoyable. I must admit, I couldn't really. Matthew Modine, I struggled to link him in here. I don't think it was his best role. Gina Davis was quite a good lead, but I think she's done far better. I think Long Kiss Goodnight and stuff like this. But I think they work all right. I say it's kind of a shame that it had a big budget movie, but it's kind of more of a B-list movie maybe. But I say, look, just if you realise what went into it and some of the stunts and the effects are actually really, really good. But as I say, it does feel kind of a setup. And Frank, Skeletor, I quite like. He's always really, really good villain. So next, after watching Bird on the Wire on a previous episode, I kind of had the feel to go and revisit this. So I bought this, I think it's like 50p or something, Private Benjamin. I remember watching it as a kid, but I can't remember much of anything, apart from kind of the fiance dying. I don't know why, morbid. And yeah, it's obviously supposed to be a comedy. It's obviously set at that time, and I think it's a bit like I found when I tried to watch Police Academy a few years ago, that it's maybe just before my time and the humour doesn't relate to what I'm into now, or maybe, you know, and I struggled to get on with this. I mean, it was interesting for her to be it. I found some of the scenes funny and the story was all right, but essentially it's, you know, she has a failed first husband, a second husband dies on honeymoon, and then the third husband's a right idiot, to put it there, and then and how it left, and I kind of felt it. I'm not quite sure how. I know Goldie Hawn financed this and stuff as well, but I felt like this wasn't nowhere near as good as I remember, or what I thought I remembered it. All right, next one we have, so I revisit. So people would have seen I recently interviewed the director of this movie, so I did really like it. The reason why I have it on here is because when I came to interview him, I watched it for a second time, but not only that, there's just under an hour long making of, and he mentioned that, so I went and watched that as well. And it was actually really, really interesting to see behind the scenes of some of the stuff that goes on and the people that supported him and the struggles and stuff they had to go through. So that was very, very enjoyable. So because I kind of watched the features and rewatched the movie, this is why this is here, even though you would have seen it like a month or so ago. And I say, and if you're interested to know about British filmmaking, please do go check my lives, and that is there. Another one, it's an upgrade. I'm not sure if this is from Matt, or I think this is from Matt or AJ. I can't remember which one, apologies. But Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows was obviously the sequel to it from Guy Ritchie. And to be honest, over time, and maybe liking the British Sherlock, it was all right to watch, but I weren't the biggest fan. There was the whole slow motion stuff, and that worked. I thought was ingenious at the time. I don't know, with having seen, you know, more of a different Sherlock from Benedict Cumberbatch and stuff like this, that I like that more because there's more of that. It's a TV series. Obviously, there's only like 3 episodes, but it's like 3 episodes are like a film and a half of this, more or less. But it's all right. I'm glad to have the upgrade and have it in. I think I had the first one on DVD, so I'll probably look to upgrade that and rewatch that one. And then the final one is the steelbook that I picked up. It is The Great Wall. So glad I picked this up and glad I revisited. Obviously, it stars obviously Matt Damon there and Pedro Pascal, and I actually really like this. I think I've watched this 3 or 4 times now, having seen it at the cinema, and I really, you know, the monsters are really good and how they integrate into the world. It is a very much kind of the Last Ronin, the Last Samurai, these type movies where you have an American coming into the kind of Chinese, Japanese culture, and then them being kind of the star. I tried to go away from that. He's just very good at what he does. There are a few little bits like near the end that are maybe over the top. But for the most part, it's a very fun, enjoyable movie. A very good mix of martial arts and aliens merged into together. So that has been a look what I've been watching. Obviously, as always, a very varied thing. If there's anything you think I should feel or you want me to review, please let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I've been Cypher Sigma Screen Time. Hope you've enjoyed this video and hope you're having a good week, and I shall see you in the next one.